Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Bonsai Expression. No, it's pretty nice out today. So I thought, while the weather is pretty nice, I thought we would get back out in the Bonsai Expression garden and do some work rather than being over in the polytunnel. So as you can see just behind me, we've got a few of the trees, and if you notice, a lot of the trees have now started dropping all their leaves. Winter is definitely on its way, so the Bonsai Expression garden is a mess. Aside from that, as I say, I'm going to be working on another ficus, and with the weather being nice and the weather being quite warm, actually, it's a bit weird for what we're on the 18th. No, we are on the 12th of November, so it's pretty warm, unusually warm actually for November. I thought we would get in the garden, get on the bench, and work on my garden centre rescued ficus. You know, it's nice weather. We don't have to be inside in the polytunnel working on it, keeping it humid. So, yeah, I'll show you how this one's doing, and it needs a bit of a trim. So, let's go over on the bench and let's get some work done. As you can see right here, the rescued ficus is doing really well considering the original shape that I got it in. If you remember, or if you don't, please go back to the original video. It's got a complete playlist for it, and this video that we're making today is going to be part of that playlist, so I'll leave it right at the end. I always leave two videos, just like here, or here. So if you want to watch the original playlist, I'll put it at the end for you, or at least I'll link the original video for you, either way. Go check it out so you can see where this awesome tree has come from. But as you can see, I'm going to refer to it like this, or look at it rather than you guys. So it's got plenty of growth in it. It's got really healthy now, and as you can see, I've completely changed the angle of it from that original video. As I say, please do go check it out. So now I've grown it, I've put it on this nice little angle. The aerial roots are supporting it from the back, and I've got a new aerial root as well at the back there, and they are thickening up, and they are doing really well in terms of anchoring the tree down. Awesome. It's very secure. And I've got these two little rocks as well, one underneath it and one outside, which do give it a nice little landscape feel. So the tree itself is obviously leaning to the left, and then I've got this one branch that comes up and then shoots up nicely. And then the tree is actually, the way it's developed, with this main apex leader and then a branch coming off it, which has shot off quite dominantly, as you can see. So the things I need to do today is just clean out the centre section, go in, and as I usually do with the ficuses, the leaves here, they start, and then just underneath it, only on top of the leaf, you've got a little bud. That's where the main branches will start developing from. So just like this one here, the leaf, and then the branch comes off, starts developing. So this leaf here, we need to go around the tree and start removing those. Just by doing that, that opens up the tree as well, so it'll allow light in. So the first things we're going to be doing today is that, opening up the tree so I can see into it, let light in, and then also, as I say, it just removes a lot of the clutter in terms of the foliage. So that's the first job I'm going to be doing today. Once that's done, I'm going to go in and remove any branches that are going in the wrong direction. So in this section here, you've got branches that come off the main, one of the main branches, and then we've got all the other branches that just go off and then clutter into the other sections. Once I've done that, I'll go in, and then we've got the main conical shape, which is, as you can see, it's got a nice little triangular shape other than the main branches that will be used, but I've obviously just gone too far out of shape like this one. I need to reduce it in and bring it into the main shape. Once I've done that, we can then start looking at progressing the rest of the tree. Everything is just growing wild, it just needs coming in, reducing off. And then I've got the odd dead branch just down at the bottom section as well that we need to just come in and rectify, just like this and that one there. So generally, as you can see, the tree is very healthy. It's got loads of growth. Just need to bring it back and just tidying up generally. On the whole, I really like this tree so far. It's doing well. Excuse me. I've got a couple of aerial roots I would like to develop more this year. I'm going to leave all my ficuses in the polytunnel to try and develop more aerial roots. I just need to neaten it up, remove some unwanted branches, just give it a trim, allow it to, excuse me, my throat keeps going all crispy and crusty. Got a bit of cold coming back, the weather keeps changing. Nice again today, back in the t-shirt, lovely. So gonna go in doing that, and we're gonna just bring it down in height a little bit, I think. Just keep it tight in. But the tree's generally coming on lovely. I hope you think it's coming along nicely as well. Once you go and see that other video, you can see the comparison to where it is. You can see it's doing nicely. Look at it. So let's start pruning this up. So as I say, the first thing we're going to do is just going to come in and look around the tree and just take out some of these leaves that are, you know, that have been used by the tree. And then as the tree's pushed that growth, it has then developed new branches from the buds that have been utilized. There we go. Utilized from the tops of the original leaves. Sprouted new branches, as I say. So them old leaves have done their job. They've captured all the sunlight, allow the tree to photosynthesize, grow new buds. But they are now too big and in the wrong places. They are drowning out the light from the interior parts of the tree. So I'm just going through the tree, looking for the sections like this one here, looking for the sections where the new branches have developed from. We're just going to come in and cut those out. This could take a while, but once we've done it, the tree should be a lot less congested and it should at least look a little bit better. But again, we don't stop there. We continually work around the tree, removing the rest of the unwanted branches. But this is just the first step, and this is the one I would recommend everybody do with their ficus, because even just doing this, if you're not going to remove branches, this will make your tree look a hell of a lot better. Now you can see I've just taken this much off, just a simple trim of the leaves that have just been coming from basically the sections like this, when then you've got a branch coming out. So just like that there, simple leaf remove coming from a branch, and then just a little trim thing like that, and you can see it's just opened up a little section. Now we've got partial bits where we can now see through the tree a little bit better. Okay, so the next stage on this development of the tree is just removing unwanted branches, so anything going through the tree. So let me move you into a position where we can see properly. So here we go. Let me get some pruning shears. So anything like this section here, if I just get you in, you can see I've got branches that are coming through the tree. So all these sections here, these are all unwanted branches. So this here, here and here, for instance, they are not going to be utilized, and they are just basically in the way. So now just removing that little section there, you can see it's cleared up, and now you missed that one, cleared up, and you can see we've got a better viewing angle of the tree. So if I just pull out a second, you can see there, you can see right through the tree. You can see I've got this branch as well, that is obviously, that is going to be removed, because there we go, something like that. So let's put you on a proper tripod so you can see a little bit better what we're going to be doing. This one is obviously growing across the tree as well, so even if we were at whatever angle we were going across like this, that is going right across the viewing pleasure of the viewer, so that's got to come off as well. There we go. So just simple tricks like that is obviously making the tree look a lot better. And then obviously you've got this really long branch, so that's got to come into shape. And then as we trim stuff like this back, you're going to do it, just for instance, we're going to do it there, and then you trim it back to a leaf that's directional. So this now trimmed to this leaf, the leaf will now directionally grow in that direction there. That's a lot of directions. If I trim that branch, the leaf is growing in this direction, so it's going to grow excuse me, it's going to grow back on itself, so that has got to come off. Okay, this is probably not going to be as tall, it's going to come back to there, and it's going to grow out this way. Okay, as we were discussing, the next stage of the plan is just to go in and remove anything that is going across the tree. So this branch right here is going across the tree, so we need to come in and remove that. at least to a point where it's not going right across. We can utilize it by having it go across the tree and then directional prune it to this leaf here, and then we can then develop it growing back out frontwards. The same with this one here, we can bring it down and have it lead with this one here. It's coming right back, and then it can grow out this way towards the viewer. So it's just a matter of coming back, making the right prunes into the right scope of the tree. Let's get rid of that one. It's all about directional pruning at this stage. So when we prune back, we're pruning to a leaf where it allows the tree now to develop in the right direction. Reduce everything back, reduce everything into the right branch that we are going for, and obviously directional pruning. Now, as you can see, I've trimmed up, well, I've taken a few branches off, as you can see, stuff like this, and some smaller bits. Everything I've done so far has opened up the tree. I've done everything in terms of pruning, and I've allowed everything to do, well, basically, it's opened everything up, and I've pruned everything back in a way that has allowed me to do directional pruning. So when I've pruned up to here, I've allowed this leaf in the direction. So now, as everything grows, it's going to grow this way. The same with this, I've allowed it to grow this way, and then over in this side is allowed to grow outwards. Now, I'm at the point where, if I turn around, it's opened everything out. It's now starting to develop a shape, but I've now got to this stage where I need to start looking at making a decision for my leader. So this is obviously the leader of the tree, but I've obviously got this section here which is obviously growing and wants to be the leader. It's the obviously apex dominant on this side. So I can either continue to develop this one and try and thicken it up and make it apex dominant and then try and bring it out this way, or I can have this one as a leader, try and bring this as a leader and make it apex dominant this side, and then try and make it sloping down like this, like that. Or obviously I can make it this, the apex, and then have it sloping down this way. So I've got choices, but this is obviously thicker over this side at the time of recording. So as of right now, this looks like more apex dominant. So the question is, where do we go from here? And for me, I think the answer is I'm going to reduce the height of this. One, because it doesn't come from directly in the center of my tree. It comes from the front, it comes forward and then goes up. This is directly in the center. So what I am going to try and do is reduce the height of this section and then try and have this as my leader. And then, yeah. So first things first is I need to sort of make a decision on the height. So I'm going to reduce this one back here and allow this to grow up front, and also reduce it to here, which means I would like, in fact I'm going to reduce this one way back to here, and I'm also going to reduce it further back here and allow more buds to develop. Actually no, I'm going to go a bit further. I'm going to go back there, see what develops. I'm also going to reduce this one. I'm going to come back further with it to here, take this one out completely, and I am going to develop this one back to here, possibly bringing it back further. So into reducing this one has also got to come in significantly. So let's come back to here and then also bring this one back down here and here. That's got to come out. In fact, let's take that fixed section out completely and bring that back in here. There we go. Which now means this whole section has got to come to about here. So my leader has got to come somewhere there. Okay. Bring that back down to there. So I've got a nice conical shape going that way, which means if that is my leader here, the conical shape has got to come down somewhat this way. So again, have a big cut. I'm going to go this way. Let's take it down to there. Take that out completely. I'm going to take this off completely as well. Coming down this way. I'm just looking roughly. That's got to come out. So if we're going to go like that, nice tight, and then all the way line this way. So I think we're going to go somewhat like this. Let's bring that back here at the front. Keep this nice and tight. Bring this tighter in still, just a little bit. That's about right. Conical shape, it's got to be uneven on one side. Well, it's got to be nice and tight on one side, sloping down on the other, which means if I've done that, I've also got to bring in this back section now. So there, can't be as tight. I'm going to come in and remove that. Now, I didn't want to take this much off, but as I started going into it, I realised I needed to do a redesign. Well, not a complete redesign, but I needed to correct some of the stuff. So, as I trimmed back, I noticed that this branch here was too long and too thick. So I had to cut back in to make the rest of it look better. The apex was too far leaning backwards, so I had to cut back in and I had to change the branch. And then as I started doing that, I noticed it was too long and gangly, so I had to then cut back further to make it look right. And then as I did that, I had to correct a number of other issues, which then led down a rabbit hole to this. But now correcting everything else, the rest of the tree, as you can see, looks a hell of a lot better. Which means I'm starting from a good structural base. So now I'm happy with where I am at with the tree. So I can now actually build a good foundation. So it's like building a house. You start with a good foundation. I could have left it as it was and just gone, yeah, it's a good tree, but when you look at it deep, it's not good bones. So now it's got good bones, I can build on it. I've got a good apex, strong apex, I've got good branching around it. So, and then I've got a good back branch, I've got good side branches, and a good front branch. So as that grows in, I can now get the conical shape growing in properly. So it'll grow this way, like this, and then it'll grow down and all that outwards, which then will show off this nice curve. And then when you spin round to the back, it'll show off all the, or you could even have it as the front, but it'll show off all the aerial roots that are already established. And then as I develop more aerial roots, I've got a small one down here, they should develop down this way as well, and then hopefully we can get some out front, and it should develop nice structural anchor points as well in the future. So that's how I see the tree going in the future, and I don't see why it won't be a nice tree going forward. So fingers crossed I've done right by the tree. Anyway, if you like this one and you think I've done right by it, please leave a comment and leave a like as well to say, yeah, Christoph, you've done the right thing here. And although I have took an absolute shed load off the tree, as I say, I've done right by it. So leave a comment, leave a like to say I've done right, and don't forget to subscribe. So yeah, thanks for watching today. Hope you like it. If you do, as I say, leave a like, but more importantly, thank you for watching, and subscribe to the channel to watch more on this one. So I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.